right, where are we headed?
We're headed to Oklahoma City. I got to go back and do my regular job for a little while longer.
Yeah. So,
Yep. But it's
in
cool.
this
It's a good
video,
job.
we are going to discuss what you did at school.
All right, sounds good.
And where we're moving forward.
Yep. There we go. Now we're heading.
Man, this stuff is good.
Oh yeah, got some good down there, doesn't it? That hit the spot.
I have a
for you,
Starbucks addiction. I don't deny it. All right.
Hits the spot.
We are ready to rock and roll. Because really, the trip doesn't begin until
we get to Starbucks.
until we get to Starbucks and buy the drinks and buy the breakfast. And so, I mean, we're probably, 15 minutes from our house. So Brian went to the NRVIA inspector school. That is connected to the NRVTA, which is a technician's academy. And the school is in Athens, Texas.
Training Academy.
Training Academy. Oh, I apologize. Training Academy. One of the biggest things that we wanted to talk about was the value of the school. So this is as of January 2021. And I'll give the prices of what we paid because this is real talk. Okay, I am big into getting value for our money. So we started paying for this last year, but the prices at this time for 3 weeks of school were just under $5,000. And then because we don't have an RV yet, Brian had to stay in a cabin at their RV park, which was a really nice cabin. But I will say this, it was more than our mortgage. In 3 weeks at that time, this again is January 2021, it was just over $1,800. So that's quite pricey. So looking at that combination, it's about $6,600 for 3 weeks of training. And basically this is a career change, right? So we want to talk about, did we get value for the money? Did we get, was it a good choice? Right? So I'll first say it's the only choice. This is the only choice that you can go to inspector school. They are the only organization that is teaching this inspector school, right? And I'm going to say from a wife's perspective, and then I'm going to hand it over to Brian, I feel that it was fully worth the money. I wish the cabin wasn't so much, but we went out and visited every single weekend. So we actually went out there 4 times, my daughter and I, and it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. And it was only about a 2-hour drive from our home. So that wasn't a problem. And y'all know I love driving, so that wasn't a problem. So I am going to give it over to Brian, and we're just going to let him discuss this first point, and that is the value of what you got. Okay.
Well, now that I've gone through the class, yes, it was of full value, and you definitely get your money's worth out of the instruction. The instructors are very knowledgeable. They know what they're talking about. They gave it to us in a fun and memorable way. That way you remember the things that you need to remember, most of it. I mean, honestly, I can't remember what I forgot. So,
you're so funny.
But it is very intense, but you're surprised. I was surprised at how much I actually do remember and how much I actually did learn. Now, me, I didn't know anything about RVs really. I mean, I watched YouTube videos about people who live full-time in their RVs, and so I learned some stuff from them about an RV and the makeup of an RV, what the different components are, and so I had a little bit of knowledge going into it. So I was a little bit nervous because I didn't have an RV when I got out there, so it wasn't like I could go back to my own RV and look at everything. But I did remember a whole lot. I did learn a whole lot, and I'm extremely confident now going into an RV that I would know what I'm talking about. I would know what I'm inspecting, and I know how it's supposed to function, and can tell you if there's something wrong with it. I'm not a technician, so I'm not going to try to do that, but I can tell you from an inspector standpoint the things that I find and observe and then recommend if it's something that needs to be repaired, from there. So I think I really did get my money's worth, and you learn a whole lot. So it was very good overall experience. Very good.
So when it comes to instruction, there was only one teacher for the 2 weeks of inspector school.
Instructor.
The first week that you went through was the fundamentals class, and everybody goes through that. And that class is actually like really full.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's because it's sold to people as a class for anybody that wants to learn about RVs. So if you own your own RV, it's great for you to actually know how to do a few little things, or to understand your propane system, to understand your refrigeration system, right? I mean, those kinds of things would benefit any RV owner.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the first class, the first week that you go through is all about the RV and the different components of it. And it's very good. And they do have a lot of people in there that are just, they're RV owners, and they maybe just bought their RV, or they have been out for a while, and now they're tired of having to take it to a shop all the time, and they want to know a little bit about their RV so they can fix and work on basic kind of things. And
So-
the first week will give you enough knowledge that you can possibly
I mean, it's
work on.
enough to make your brain hurt.
Yeah.
But I wonder how many people then save money on calling an RV technician because they can actually troubleshoot something.
Yeah, you know, you have a knowledge of what's going on, and that way you can't get ripped off by somebody because you're like,
Right, 'cause you know.
I understand this myself, and that's
Yeah.
not really what needs to be fixed.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to it, the biggest thing is people want to know they're spending money and they're going to get a full value from it.
Yeah.
And
You definitely will from the fundamentals class.
yeah, the fundamentals class, but then the inspector school, being that it's the only choice you have for an inspector school, you don't have anything to compare it to. Like, are they charging the right price, right? And I do believe that you got way more than your money's worth, for sure.
It's a lot of money. $6,000 is a lot of money.
Well, yeah.
And
Well, but that includes staying at the cabin.
yeah, and that includes some tools that I'm going to have from now on.
No, that would up it to 7,000. Yeah. So.
Well, there's even still a couple of things that I need to purchase that will make the RV inspection a whole lot easier on myself.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's worth it.
All right.
It really is.
All right. So we'll come back with point number 2 after we fuel the truck, because this truck has a 50-gallon fuel tank, and if it's getting really good gas mileage, like 15 miles to the gallon, we can get over 700 miles on a tank. So, but we need to fuel up here. So we'll talk to you in a minute.
Nah.
Honey, the camera's on.
Is it? Okay.
You done?
Can that be a blooper? Do I have a hair hanging out of my nose?
He's primping. All right. So let's go to highlight number 2.
Okay, hold on.
Why is your window fogging up over
Yeah, I
there?
was going to say, I have a question. I'm not the one that does all the talking, so I should
I know,
have all the hot air. You're not fogging
I am
up
not.
at all. Why am I fogging up so much?
I don't know. Okay, here we go. I fixed it. What was the second most awesome piece about attending the school?
Well, you would say that it was the people
Let's get
that
it
I
on
met.
him.
Me? I'm not big on meeting new people.
Yeah.
I like to do it. I'm just not big on it. So, but that was the second thing.
What did your wife tell you had to do?
She told me I had to talk and meet new people.
Going over the Red River.
And so I did, and I met people, and actually, this is kind of cool. We met some fellow startup YouTubers,
Yeah.
Scott and Allison. They are
Jarhead
and Ginger. What's
Jarhead and Ginger's Journey.
Jarhead and Ginger's Journey. That's their YouTube channel, so check them out.
Yeah.
And giving a shout out to them. And
Only problem is they have a Ford. Although I wanted a Ford, if you watch previous videos, I wanted a Ford, but we bought a Dodge. But I can live vicariously through their beautiful red F450. It is gorgeous. Yes.
It's a very nice truck. It is.
Yeah. The best part about that is,
And
this is a side note. Hold on, this side note.
Yeah.
Their mirrors come in when they lock the truck. Our mirrors, you have to push a button to make them come in. That's a side note. Okay, ready? Keep talking. Okay, what else? What did I tell you when you went there again?
You told me that I had to talk and I had to meet people. I had to come back knowing at least 2 to 3 more people or additional people and have a phone number and a way of keeping in touch.
And why is that? Because if I wasn't there, what was going to happen?
I would just go there, learn my stuff, and not really meet anybody and then just leave.
Yeah.
And I met Scott in the first week because in the first week there was probably about almost 50 people in the real big classroom. And so both technicians and inspectors were in that class because that's a requirement that everybody has to take. And there was only 9 of us in the inspector class. So I met all of the guys. And so I have 8 new friends and fellow inspectors and people I can reach out to, keep in touch with.
Yeah. And
they're spread all over the United States. So,
yeah,
when I go in other areas, I say, hey, hey, how you doing? I'm in your neck of the woods. I'm in Minnesota. I'm in Michigan. Let's grab lunch and talk.
Yeah, maybe we can mooch.
Talk about it.
Somewhere.
Yeah, there you go. We can mooch off of them.
Yeah. It's always good to be able to talk to somebody that went through the same thing you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was a key thing that I wanted to have happen, because going from truck driving into this industry, you need to have some people to back up something you learned or answer a question or,
right.
whatever.
Bounce an idea off of.
Yeah. All right, we're going to come back with a third one. That one was kind of short, but it was important. All right, so number 3 that we're going to give, and it's going to mainly come from you because this doesn't really impact me at all, but is what?
Well, one of the other things that I liked about it is that once you're done with class, it's not like you leave and you don't have anything else. Going through the class, you become a member of the NRVIA, and there are resources in there that you can continue to read and keep your memory fresh. Yeah, it's on the website. On the bucket. The other thing is that they require...
My husband uses a lot of pronouns.
I'm talking over here.
Okay.
Camera's looking at me.
Go ahead. Camera's looking at you.
They have yearly required CEUs.
Yearly CEU requirement.
They have a yearly CEU requirement, which is allows you and helps you to keep up with all of the things going on in the RV industry. And one thing that's neat is that I can travel as a business to somewhere around the Lippert, Aqua Hot, Moride, Suburban, Dometic, Coleman, any of these kind of manufacturers that make things for RVs. If they offer classes about their components that they make, I can travel there, I can stay there, I can go on vacation there as long as I learn and take the classes about, which helps me in my business.
Exactly.
To know, about the components, know more about them, and
right. Why didn't we do this earlier?
I don't know. We should have.
We should have.
What were we thinking of?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
What were we thinking?
Yeah. So, it helps me in my business. Plus, we can have fun doing it, and that's the wonderful thing about it. You have fun, you make money, you're doing business, you're helping people. It's wonderful.
Truck bypass way station.
Oh, goody, we get to bypass the way station.
Well, I think that covers the top 3 things I haven't heard anybody else really discuss the benefits as a couple, because I think this is going to be both of our businesses going forward. And so we want to make sure that this is a value for our family. And I think that we covered a lot of the really good things. But now, honey, we both have to come up with one negative. And the reason I want to do that is because this needs to be real. We need to actually talk about if there was anything that we found negative about the experience, not about the school. I'm talking about the experience, because everybody goes into something brand new and they don't really know whether it's going to benefit them, whether it's going to enhance their life, whether it's going to be a negative, whether it's going to be a regret, right? And so for when we walked into this, we had expectations. Other people may have different expectations, but I just want to share ours. Okay. So
what's yours?
What you want me to go first? Because you know what I'm going to say. I already kind of covered it in my Instagram post.
we might talk about the same things.
Okay, all right. So the biggest issue for me was going in not to the first week of school, because we knew what tools needed to be bought before the first week of school. They want you to have a certain amount of things so that you can learn those tools while you're at the school. So multimeter, and that's the only one I know. But there were other, manometer, what else? What else did you have to have?
Screwdrivers. I had to have a
okay, we know
plug.
how to use a screwdriver.
I had to have a...
But he had to take a tool bag worth of stuff, full of stuff, and I totally got that. For the inspector school, I just assumed you were going to have the same amount of stuff, or the same things.
I assumed
so
the same tools.
We did not fully receive the information of what was going to be required. And there was just a loss of communication. Somewhere it got broken down. What ended up happening, though, was the day before the class started, or 2 days before the class started, we discussed and realized that Brian had to have a PC. We don't use PCs. We hate them. I hate them. You dislike them. I hate them. I am a Mac user all the way. We have Apple products, and I just do not like PCs. And I was not going to put any kind of software on my Macintosh to make it a PC in order to run the RV inspector
because you use
software.
it for your photography business, and so
right. I use my MacBook Pro for my photography business. Well, the thing is, I don't want anything related to PCs on my Mac. I don't care whether it works or not. That's my opinion, and I'm okay if nobody agrees with it, but I did not want to do anything with my brand new MacBook Pro that I had bought for my photography business. And so we ended up having to purchase a PC laptop at Walmart 2 days before class started, because we were told that he had to have that in order to learn the software to do the RV inspections for the client. And that was a big surprise, and it was really kind of stressful because of the surprise of it, right?
Well,
and we had to wrap our brains around it pretty quickly.
I was told that there was a workaround, but I wasn't told to the extent.
Well, and there was
workaround has to be done.
We still would have had to put money
right
into something in order to run the software.
We would have had to buy basically Microsoft.
Right. And that's what really bothers me, is that software companies, and this has nothing to do with the school, but the company they're choosing to use for inspection reports is a PC-based company. And that just really bothers me. Now, again, there may be some viewers where it doesn't bother them at all. They all have PCs.
Yeah.
They all think this is ridiculous, and that's fine. I totally agree that it could be sounding ridiculous, but for our experience, it was a setback. Financially, praise God, we had the money, but it was a setback, right?
Yes.
And so,
it was a little bit of a stressful situation.
It was
halfway through,
we're in the middle of nowhere country, and we had to go to a Walmart. I mean, we couldn't go to a Best Buy. I mean, Walmart ended up having what we needed, but I had to do a little research to make sure that they had it, and
and I didn't get. Somewhere fell through the crack the email that are automatically sent out. I don't know where it went.
Yeah, they say we got it. We say we don't.
And I got a second one when I was halfway through the first week of another whole list of tools that I.
Yeah, there was not. So basically, all that ends up talking in the end is there was not really clear, concise, good communication well in advance of the class.
Yeah.
We had paid for this class for over 6 months. They had chosen to extend the RV inspector school from 1 week to 2 weeks, which encompasses a total of a 3-week school, because you get that fundamentals class first. They had known about that for at least 2 months. We should have had communication prior to the weekend before class starting to have a PC.
Well,
and I think that's our biggest complaint for our experience was the lack of communication. And I understood fully why a PC was needed.
Afterwards,
but as you can
but,
tell, it really bothered me.
Well, the thing that I looked at and looked for was a real thorough description of the class and what I was going to be.
We never did get that.
And yeah, it's not on there anywhere that I can find.
Not on the website. There's nothing clearly stating what you're doing the second full week.
Maybe it will be that, you know, you're going to need all these tools in order to go to the class, and you know, it's another $500 if you don't have. Well, it's more than that if you don't have those tools already, which a lot of people do. Yes, but I'm saying if you don't and you have to go out and buy that stuff, it's an additional expense to be able to go to the class. And if I didn't know that up front, I thought paying for the class gave me everything that I needed to do the class.
Right. So
and it doesn't.
We're not complaining that it cost the extra, but we would have liked to have had more time to plan for it.
Yes, I would have.
Right.
I still would have done it.
Right.
And yes, the school is absolutely worth it.
Right.
Once you get through it, but knowing what you're going into would have helped me plan better. And I wouldn't have had the.
Because most people that are changing careers, they don't have a pile of money sitting aside. They're doing what they can to go from one career to the other. Like Brian used 3 weeks of vacation in order to go to the school. So, because he's not retired. Now, with that said, there's many men in there that are retired.
Yeah.
And so, again, this might not impact every person. We recognize that. It might not impact every person that is choosing to change careers and become an RV inspector.
Right.
It's just, that was our biggest letdown. I think we're in agreement.
Yeah, some people have all the money set aside to make the change, and they're comfortable with it.
And that's awesome, but they still need communication
as we go along to make the change. You know?
Yeah, because we still have to buy our RV.
We're still living too, you know, so we're paying that, but we're setting aside additional money, and then we go and do the one thing. We don't have money set aside to go and do 5 things, which ended up being for the class.
In fact,
we had to do.
Because Brian's going back to work and we are not even getting our RV until the end of March, we returned the PC laptop, because I ain't using that thing. And we'll just buy a new one when he starts needing it. So that's our take, January 2021, on the negative. I will say that's probably going to change. I fully believe that they are
website that there's a better description of what the class entails. Now, this is the first time that they changed to a 3-week thing,
right?
And so they had to come up with stuff to write about the 3-week thing.
Class, the 3-week class,
the 3-week class,
And I totally believe they will. This is not a trash on that. It's a needs improvement piece.
Right.
And I believe that if people, because you did communicate in the critique that they had, and those will keep personal. We're not going to share those because those are specific to what he felt as a student. I want to talk to our viewers as consumers that are paying a large amount of money to change careers.
Yeah.
I think that's a key thing, because it's part of the journey. It's part of this 2-year process where we are changing our entire lives to shift from working for the man, basically, and living in a house and taking 1 week of vacation per year and really not having any kind of freedom or adventure in life. And we're shifting our way of thinking to becoming business owners. Well, I already own a business, but I'm talking business owners as a family and moving forward with all of the processes required to get there.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, and you know, you and I are coming into this whole RV industry from the very beginning, and so there's a lot of things that we don't know about. And
but we do know about spending money and buying things.
Yeah.
And wanting full value for it.
At the school, they're already involved in the thing, and so sometimes when you communicate with people that are totally brand new, you just take for granted that there are some things that they may know or whatever, and you know, so I think some of that's kind of what happened.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're done, right? I mean, like.
Yeah.
I think that.
But I will end on a positive.
Very
note.
positive.
The school is absolutely worth it. The people are absolutely wonderful.
Oh yeah. The amount of
friends,
information they know.
You'll continue to be friends with the people at the school long after you're done.
Yeah.
And you can reach out to them. So, you know, I had some little stresses because I didn't know what I needed to know going into it, so it caused me some stress.
Hold on, wait.
What?
I'm going to tell them.
Oh, no. You don't need to tell them. Don't tell anybody, please. Don't tell them.
Brian thought that he was not going to get good grades and that he didn't know what he was doing and blah, 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 blah.
Well, hey, come on now. I'm going to be the God is our provider, so I'm not trying to take anything from God. But I'm going to be doing work down here on the earth that, you know, provides for my family and that kind of thing. And so making the career change and all that and wanting to do good. And I've had a small business before, ended up closing it up after a while because I wasn't able to make it work. And so, you know, those kind of things, they weigh on you if you let them. But
so tell them, honey, what did you get on your final grade?
All right, I'll tell you this just because she's making me do it, but otherwise I'm not going to talk about it. I got my final grade on my exam was a 100.
Please, people don't know what that means.
They don't know what a 100 is?
No, go ahead.
It's a 100. I got 100 on my final exam.
You got 100 on your final exam?
Yes, and I got
how many questions? Really?
125 questions.
125 questions.
Yes.
Yeah. He got 100%
and that
on 125 questions.
That just goes to show how good at teachers and instructors they are.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. No. That shows that my husband knows what he was doing and he self-doubted.
Sorry.
Yeah. Because I knew he could do it.
Can't self-doubt no more.
No, he can't self-doubt no more. I knew you could do it. I knew that you had the capabilities to do it.
You always got my back.
Yeah, I got your back, yeah. Yeah, but it's hard being the person watching you self-doubt. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
True.
But, you know, that's married life. So we have basically covered our experience with the school of NRVTA, which then has an additional school with it, the NRVIA. And so I hope that our long-winded, very personal experienced story helps you decide whether it's worth it. And we say it is. It's very worth it, even though there's no other competing schools to become an inspector and learn how to do that. It's very well worth it. The standards of practice and the code of ethics that they're putting forth are something that we fully agree with and we're glad to be a part of. So, honey,
if you have to.
Did you see that? There was a Starbucks sign for the next exit.
Oh my goodness, we don't need one.
No, I know.
But
I do need a nice tea.
I was going to say, if the video is starting to get long, just speed us up.
Yeah. Hey, that's one trick we've learned. If you made it this far, you need to watch your videos at 1.5 speed, because then we talk really, really fast, and then of course then you can get through as twice as many.
I didn't think I would remember as much stuff, but actually I can understand it better because they're talking fast enough.
Yeah. Just think when I meet a lot of YouTube channels out there on the road, I'm actually going to think that they talk really slow, because I'm used to watching everybody's videos at 1.5 speed.
Yeah. And then it's funny now when
if you don't know how to do that, go to the upper right hand corner. There's 3 dots on your cell phone, And if you press that 3 dots, it'll say playback speed, and it's usually at normal. And then you just tap on the word normal and it drops down a screen and move it to 1.5. I've tried 1.75, it's too fast. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate you and we hope that you have a great week. All right, bye.